What's up, everybody? It's me, the Oyster or Oyster Wax, whatever you want to call me. And today, we're back with something a little bit different on my channel, but it's something I really wanted to do for some time now, and that was to, do some computer builds. I mean, like, not building computers. I'll do that in the future. I'll do like tutorials how to build computers, actual build, like me building computers. But this one's just like if you're thinking of building a computer, it's like, oh, what parts should I get for certain budgets? So for the first one, we're gonna start with $1,000. That's where I feel most people's budgets are around. When they build their computers for like the first time. Oh, train. So yeah, but there'll be different prices in the future. There'll be different parts, different updated versions. Like maybe next year I'll come out with another $1,000 computer build. That has updated parts, the new Intel Broadwell and stuff like that. But that's in the future, so let's start off with what we have now. If you guys ever think you want a budget that you feel like, oh, say, I want to build a computer, I only have like $700, can you do a build guide for me? Sure, I can. If you guys say, oh, I don't know how to water cool my computer, or it's like, oh, how to actually build a computer from beginning to finish, I'll upload those too, and I have some coming in the future. But now here we are, so let's start off with the $1,000 computer build that I chose. Some parts you guys may not agree with, but this is what I just thought would be the best. So instead of going with, this is $1,000, and as you guys know, for gaming, the graphics card is much more important than the CPU. So in this so we went with AMD, and this AMD CPU performs very well. The 8350, it's an amazing CPU. It uses the AM3 Plus socket. It's good. You won't see like 5 frames max, 3 frames about difference between this, maybe the higher end i7s, i5s, even the Haswells. So for gaming, this is where I think most people put their money towards for using their computers, and they build one. If you're building workstation, then I would spend some amount more for a workstation grade parts. So I believe $1,000 would be a very decent computer build. So you don't need like the best, Ivy Bridge E or when Haswell E or something like that when it comes out. So we just went with the regular AMD CPU. So this is 8-core CPU. It has a regular operating frequency as 4.0 gigahertz, but it has a turbo 4.2 gigahertz. Uses 32 nanometer manufacturing from AMD, and it has a TDP of 125 watts. So this does come with a heatsink and fan, but we're gonna change that out later because we want to spend a little bit more for some high grade cooling. So for our motherboard, we went with the 990FX chipset. This is like the highest end AM3 Plus motherboard, and you're looking at this motherboard and you're like 4 PCI 2.0s because this is AMD, so they're only run at 2.0. So then you're like, wow, this thing's expensive, but you can only get this you can get these for about $140. And paired with the $100 or $199 for the 8350, it's a nice pair for your build. It supports lots of RAM speeds from 1066 RAM all the way to 2000. So if you're really overclocking your RAM to really high speeds, I would go for a higher end motherboard so you can achieve higher speeds. But for me, I wouldn't personally overclock RAM because that's just not what I do. It supports up to 32 gigs of RAM. Now we get to the expansion slot, the PCI 2.0s. So as you can see, there's 2 X16s and 2 X4s. So for this wouldn't do 4-way SLI because SLI requires X8 speeds, but this only has 2 X16s and 2 X4s. For Crossfire, you could technically do 4-way Crossfire, but for 2 of your graphics card, you won't even get close to their full potential. And if you're doing full-weight SLI, full-weight Crossfire, and if you want to go with the AMD build, I would go, with the higher-end Asus ROG or something like that. Because if you're spending that much on graphics card, you can spend a little bit more money, $100 more on a motherboard. But this is more around the budget gamer, and it works for, maybe one graphics card, even two graphics card at X16 speed. So that's good. It has 6 SATA 3 ports, which is 6 gigabytes a second. It has USB 3.0, 2.0, has a USB, the PS2, everything. It's actually very good for the price of $140, and all black design fits like almost any case or any type of build, so it gives like a nice background to work on. So now we're moving on to the graphics card, one of the most important parts while you're building a computer, like a gaming oriented computer. And we don't want to cheap out here, and we want to like lower the prices and everything else, but here we wanted to go as expensive as we can get. So we went with the Asus GeForce GTX 770. So this is slightly overclocked from Asus. It may not be overclocked as much as the 4 gigabyte WindForce cooler. Those it may not be as overclocked as high, or it's get close to, but it performs very well. It can play the newest games, ultra settings at 1080p. Like the Crisis 3 might stress out a little, so you might want to turn stuff down, but it can play almost any game at max settings, 1080p. So this is a very good graphics card for the price of only $330. So it has 2 gigs of VRAM, which is more than enough for now. And if you guys are wondering, oh, will it be good in 1, 2, 3 years? It should be good for at around 5 years, even more. Because really, unless you're really stressing it out and like simulating stuff and rendering, well, not really rendering, but still, if you're actually like taking up all that VRAM, then it's then you could upgrade. But 2 gigabytes is more than enough. It uses GDDR5, so the memory clock is it says 7010 megahertz. The core clock of the chipset is a 1058 and a boost clock of 1110. So it has DirectX 11, OpenGL 4.3, and the ports, it uses one HDMI, one DisplayPort, one dual-link DVI-I, and one dual-link DVI-D. This is actually very good for the price, and very good for our price range. So this is like one of the best we could find, and it performs very, very well. So now we move on to RAM. So for RAM, we went with 8 gigs of G.Skill Aries 1600 megahertz RAM, DDR3 240 pin. Nothing really special here. It's just regards a cast latency of 9. We got the dual channel, 2 sticks. But if you really want to go at 1 stick, like you can get Crucial Ballistic for around the same price of about $68, $69, $70 for 8 gigs. So it's really nothing too special here. 1600 megahertz. More than enough. You don't really need to overclock RAM. You won't really see any difference between 1600 megahertz or 1866 or 2000. You won't really see any difference in performance while you're gaming. For rendering maybe, but for gaming you don't really need to spend $100 more just for faster RAM. So this is just the average RAM dual channel kit, and it will work just fine, and looks pretty boss too. So now we move on to the heart of the computer, the one that feeds all the power, all the oxygen. So you don't want to cheap out here in this part. So you're going with the Corsair CX500. This is an 80 plus bronze power supply, and it's not modular, but if you want a modular, you can find other power supplies that are modular in this 500 watt power supply range. And if you're thinking maybe in the future you want to go and SLI your 770, then I would actually, if you don't want to buy a new PSU, I would go for a higher watt PSU, you know, maybe you know, 600-700 watt minimum, because you're giving 2 GPUs, so that's gonna really put need on the power supply. So it's just 500 watts, 80 plus bronze. It comes with enough ports. Yeah, nothing too special here. It comes with all the regular ports. Comes with one 20 plus 4 pin. Comes with one 4 plus 4 pin. It comes with 2 PCIe's that are 6 plus 2 pins, I believe. 5 SATA, 4 peripheral, and 1 floppy. Floppy is like obsolete nowadays, but some people still use it. But yeah. Now for the hard drive. Now for the hard drive, this really is the storage part of your system. So it goes, this Western Digital Caviar Blue 1 terabyte drive goes around for $69, and the power supply goes for around $69 too. So they're both around $70. It's just, you don't need SSD. You need SSDs, but for this price range, an SSD would really you know, lower all the other parts. Maybe in the future you want to get a faster boot drive, but this is good enough. It has SATA 3, 7,200 RPM, so it's really good enough. 1 terabyte, you can always upgrade more, and it's just Western Digital has high, you know, a low failure rate and high reliability. So this is what's you're gonna put all your OS and stuff on. You don't need, you know, the fastest SSD in the world. The only thing that hard drives, like different hard drives from each other, give are reliability and speed. And so you won't see any gaming performance in game from your hard drive. It's just that boot up from the game will be slower than an SSD. So if it really bugs you, you can always, you know, maybe a 128 gigabyte SSD to put use that as your boot drive. For the case, this is what's going to be housing everything. This is what your literal computer is going to look like. So you don't really want to get like the ugliest computer case you can find. So we went with the Corsair Carbide Series 200R. So this is really like an Obsidian looking type of case, but it's not the Obsidian series, it's the Carbide, so it's a bit lower, but has all the stuff you need. It has USB 3.0, has 3 external 5.25 inch bays, 4 3.5 and 4 2.5, so that's more than enough. 7 expansion slots, has audio and USB 3.0 like I said in the front. Has 8 fan ports, so you're really not gonna miss out on cooling. And it looks very, very sleek, you know, in the front, on the side. It looks like the Obsidian series case, like I said. It's good enough. It looks boss, and I've used it before. I've seen people use it before, and it's gonna last you through your entire time using your computer. Now for the CPU cooler. So AMD, you know, stock AMD coolers may not perform, you know, as well as maybe an aftermarket cooler for sure. So we want to go with this aftermarket cooler, the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo. It's for $39. It's pretty cheap and performs very, very well. So this and the case in all cost about $100 only. So the case is about $69 too. So it's about $100 for both of these. But this has a 120mm fan on the front. It uses copper, full contact heat pipe, and it supports tons and tons of sockets. Supports Intel LGA 1150, 2000, 2011, 1366, 1155, 1115. It supports AMD FM1, FM2, and AM3 Plus. So really, this will fit ours, and it performs very well. We can even overclock our CPU a little bit without, you know, overheating, and the 8350 overclocks very, very easily. So this has a noise level from 9 to 36 decibels. Remember, it's PWM, so you can control the RPM. It goes from 600 RPM all the way to 2000 RPM, and it moves from 24.9 to 82.9 cubic feet a minute, or something like that. I don't know what CFM, I think so it's called, but doesn't matter. So it has 4 direct contact heat pipes, aluminum fins. So really, if you look at the bottom, it's just full on contact, and it works very, very well. So me personally, I still use optical drives. People say they're going obsolete and they don't include them in their builds, but I think it's always useful to have. I use it a lot, you know, burning DVDs for my parents, installing OSs, watching movies. I don't think they're going obsolete, and I don't think you need to spend $100 on a Blu-ray drive or anything like that. Instead, we can just spend $20 on something like this, the Asus DRW24B/BLK/B/AS. Not a long name at all. It's a 24x DVD/CD burner combo drive. It just works. That's all it does. It does what it says it does. An optical drive. It reads and writes data to CDs and DVDs. So really nothing special here. So it's 24x fast enough speed, and it's just, I think I still always include optical drive for my builds because I think they're very necessary still. It's gonna be some time before they, you know, go. Now for cooling. For cooling, we went with Cooler Master sleeve bearing, you know, 120 millimeter silent fans. These are the 4-packs. So this comes in 4 packs. You can only, if you don't want it, or you want LED fans, feel free. I'm not stopping you. These are just regular Cooler Master fans. They operate at 19 decibels. They move 44 CFM, or they move 44 cubic feet a minute, not meter. So they do perform very well for the price. $21 for 4 of these, and stick this in your computer, and you'll have fresh air all the time in your system, so your stuff can be cool. For them, plus the 2 that come with the case, is it necessary? I don't know. I just like having tons of fans in my computer. I always use a push-pull configuration, but it's your choice to do stuff. So for the total price of everything, it's around $1,013. I think I spent $20 more, so I think it might be around $1,023 around there, or $1,020 on the thing. So I did not include tax or shipping because I know some states or countries have different tax rates and different companies have different shipping rates. So I just went with the regular stock price. Most of the stuff I found were on sale. If you're looking for everything, you can always click the links in the description below to find the parts. But $1,000, it's just around $1,000. So this is a very good computer. Play newest games, 1080p, almost max out settings. So yeah. So if you're thinking of getting a budget of $1,000 computer, in my opinion, this is what I would get. But you guys can always change your stuff around. So yeah, thanks for watching, and subscribe for more of these types of videos. I'll do different, remember, different budgets, different parts, updated stuff. I'll be doing build guides, tutorials on computer hardware. So if you're into that stuff, then you should hit that subscribe button. And it's been Oyster Eggs, and I hope I catch you guys later. See ya.